Hi everybody, it is 3 o'clock and this is our Facebook Live education series that we're offering. So today we are going to talk about the mini arc. So if you can hear me and you can see my video feed, could you go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a little note so that I can tell that sound is good and that you can see everything. Hi, Miss Margaret. I miss you. Hi, Di Werner. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate knowing that you're out there. So let me share our template for the day. So here's our packaging. I am so excited because I am a huge fan of circles, and the mini arc is basically this compact, awesome little circle. So let's shift you a little bit so we can give you a better view. There we go. That's our sweet little baby for today. So powerful and so cute. So let's talk about what you can do with it and what your markings are first. So one of the most important markings is this center line right here. So any circle, of course, if you split it in half, you'll have an equal amount of space on each side. So if this side is the 4-inch arc, this is a 2-inch space, and this is a 2-inch space on this side. And so as far as what you have, this is a 1-inch circle, and you've got a hook rest on each side for the foot, and you've got the 2-inch and the 3-inch. So it's 1.5 to split this one, and then of course for 2 inches, 1 inch on each side. And this one is going to have a 1/2 inch of the circle on each side. And so I'm going to just do initially kind of a classic design, which is the clamshell. So I'll just pick one of those sizes and we'll go ahead and start. So I've got this center line, and the center line will show you how you can line up your circle pretty easily. So my piece is a little bit big, so I'm going to get it all smushed up here. So I have to tell you guys, I had a friend was asking me, why can't I see things when I'm talking on the camera? And the reality is that you actually have a better view than I do because the camera is right in front of my face. So literally I'm looking over it. So if that's why it seems a little odd that I can't see things sometimes, I thought I'd let you in on my little secret. All right, so let's see. Let's get ourselves bobbin thread up. Oh, there we go. Oh, it doesn't want to come up always. I'm using a really lightweight little bobbin thread, and he's very hard to pull up sometimes. Okay, let's get started. So we'll just anchor him, and we'll start right on the line. I do recommend that we always have some type of reference lines for using with any of our circle templates, because once we lay it on there, this is the alignment right here of our stitch line right here. So the foot is going to descend below this line, but the needle should end up right on the line. And that's how we can keep our half circles lined up so nicely. So I'll go ahead and I'll get started with this first one. Ooh, pushing a little too hard, I guess, right, huh? I need to hold on. All right, so let me show you right here. This is kind of powerful. This edge right here, do you have the template turned over, or does the camera need to be flipped? Oh my goodness, Susan, Tap, thank you so much. Look at, she's so right. She's totally right. I have my grips on the complete wrong side. Well, thank you, dear. I will fix them after the live. Good call. All right, so that's definitely why maybe it's making the lines a little harder to line up. So you know that whenever we have a template that has the lines on it, we recommend that you try to use it with the lines down. So if you can see right here, there's just a slight echo. Let's see if we can get you in there a little closer. That whenever we have the lines upside down, can you guys see this little white echo right there? And then the line here is on the top, the ridge. So if I flip it over, you're not going to get that echo because the lines are actually against the fabric. So Susan Tapp, thank you, good call. I will definitely be fixing that, but not now because we don't want to waste your time. So we'll just continue sewing, and this edge right here is going to line up with your reference line. And that becomes more important when we start our next arc really quick. So we'll just do another one. We'll try to make, I think, maybe 3 or 4, at least for this design. So when we do clamshells, one of the things that can be really, really challenging is when we get to this side right here, we have to travel up to get to our next clamshell. So I want to show you my little cheater trick for how I do that, because I don't like to do that. I don't like to travel along the outside. I like to travel on the inside. So we'll do one more and then we'll show you that travel, because we got to use up all this great space we have. So one of our ladies that is watching from Sweden, I got it right this time, she is celebrating her 44th wedding anniversary, and another lady tomorrow, 39. Well, congratulations to both of you. So we're down at the bottom now, and instead of traveling this way to try to figure out where we need to be, we're going to just travel right up to the very top right here. Yeah, so Margie, I have it upside down. You missed that. I messed up. It's causing problems for people. It should be like this. I put the grips on the wrong side. I'm sorry, but we're just going to go with it for now. Okay, so this would be the half right here. And notice this line right here is going to line up right with the very top of the clamshell. And that's why this line is so important. So if we want to make sure that we're aligned for our next one, we're going to line that up, touching the line below. Now, in order to get this partial right here, I'll just do the half. And then I'll come back to the center, right? And now I can line up the next one. Let's flip it a little so you guys can get a better view. All right, so we'll hook that in there. And then this line again, right here, is going to line up right at the top. And that's how we should know that we'll come into the right space. And ideally right here, this guy should also line up right in the center. And that's how we can make sure that we can get our clamshells lined up. Because of those wonderful hooks on the mini arc, I can just pop this over and line them up. And I can line up again right here at the top, and then I'm ready for my very next one. So let's go ahead, we'll do one more, and then I'm gonna do a little fun variation with this awesome template that we have here. Now, one of the things I love to do with clamshells, let me get this flattened out for us so you can see. Because we have this foot hook right here, I absolutely love to just tip a little bit, and you can just use a visual down here. So right now, that's about 1/2 inch, and I'll sew until I hit this line. Using some information like that can help me keep these little flourishes the same for each clamshell. Or you can make tick marks on your template with the water-soluble marker, and then I could put my 1 inch right there, or I could estimate, and that'll help us have the same spacing as we do the next one. So touching the line, and then coming back, and we'll put one more in there, and we'll put a longer one. Just by using that center line, it's going to let us travel a little bit further each time, and then it brings us right back. Now I tend to migrate a little, so I would kind of get my needle back to that top shape right there. But doesn't that look awesome? I love it. It's so awesome. Such a pretty, pretty design. Rainbow thread on black looks amazing. It's one of my favorite color combinations. So Mary was commenting, this is superior thread, and it is polyester, and I've got a 90 needle in my machine as well, in case anybody wanted to know. Okay, so Of course, with this template having so many different sizes, right away I've got the 1-inch clamshell, which is great for gingerbread ceilings if you have like little houses on your quilts or anything like that, or little scallops frames. This is a perfect size for that. This matches up with your 2-inch circle from the sampler set, so you can find different ways to use those two together. And then this is a 4-inch, so this is obviously a pretty good size. This is a 4-inch circle. So just for scale, I'm going to stick my pin pad on here really quick. So this is the 4-inch circle, and you can see that it fits pretty much half of that. Not quite. This is a little bigger, but I think it's important for you to know the scale of the template so that you can decide if, that might be something that you wanted. So it's really, really a great template. Let's get you a little better view here out here. Okay, so that's just one design that we have for you. I am a huge fan of circles and I love to play with them. One of the things that I often see on maybe on Facebook or something like that is people want to know, how can I create a design that can basically be a full all-over design? So I've come up with this crazy design. I hope you'll bear with me here as I flip my fabric around. And it'll be an all-over design if you want it to be. So let me grab the template and we'll get started. And I'm also going to grab a little bit of a marking tool really quick. People that have watched me for a while know that I do mark a lot with quilts to kind of give me the results that I want. So our circle is 4-inch potentially across the bottom. So let's just mark these units right here. And let's see if we can get one more. And I might repeat this design all 4 times because I want you to see how to do it, and that way if you come back to it later, then you'll get a good visual. Okay, so right now, if this is my 4-inch space, I also want to know sort of where the middle of that is. So let's put one more tick mark. We only need one. Afterwards, we should not have a problem, and I'll show you why. So this is the middle right here. And that's 3, so we'll also use that, okay? And we're going to start our needle down there, okay? All right, so let's get started. All right, so this is the start point. I'll go ahead and I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to set the foot right in this spot. I always do that. I always press the wrong button. I lived so long without a button for my presser foot, and I love it, but I have to retrain. Okay, let's get this set. Now let's see if we can make sure you have a good view. All right, did I put it in the right spot? Let's see. We're going to start with 1, okay? So we'll line them up. So we're just going to do 1, and then we'll move from there. All right, let me get my foot seated. Okay, so here we go. So we'll use the center line, and this guy, unfortunately, I can't really pivot him to get what I want. I've got to scoot him. But that's okay. He's pretty easy to move and pretty easy to line up. This is the alignment on this side, so we'll go ahead and we'll come over. And that's just a 1-inch circle. That's all we've done so far. So now I want to put the 2-inch, okay? So we'll line everybody up. This is, oh darn it, let's see if we can, we're a little far outside of your view, so we need to fix you. Let's see if we can get in there a little better. All right, guys, thanks for bearing with me. Camera management is so challenging. Okay, so we're lined up, and we're going to go ahead and we'll do this 2-inch shape. So he's right around the 1. Okay, and we're right on the midline. And now we'll do the 3. Oh, let me cut these. These are irritating me. All right, so let's get lined up right there. Okay, and it looks like I maybe need one more stitch to get to that line, that center line. And we'll put the 4 on. All right, and here we go. So with this one, let me show you right here. Don't hold down here. Get your fingers up right in here. So let me show you. If I push back here, look what kind of happens to the template. All right, you need to be in there. You need to be up because the foot is going to be touching right there. So we want to make sure we have good pressure right by the foot and not letting him get out of control. All right. So there we go. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's go crazy. It looks like I did it the reverse direction. And if you make this mistake, then you can, I'll show you how to fix it. So I'm going the wrong direction. I wanted to end up on the other side right here. So I should have gone that way. Well, that's what templates are for. Just leave that on there. We'll just go back to the other side. Right there. So now what do we need to do? If we want to make this an all over design and we want to continue on this line, we need the visual spacing. So to put this guy on, this is 1, 2, 3. So I don't have to guess. I can just put 3 on there like that. And I'm going to tack this stitch right here. So I'll just put some micro tacking right here. He's already got some overstitching, so nobody will know. I'm going to pick up the needle, but I'm not going to cut the thread. I'll get lined up, and I'm literally going to lift up my foot and hop over. So those of you that are embroidery stitchers, you know what I'm doing, right? All I am doing is I'm creating a space right here, and then I will tack it, and then I can start with my 1. So we'll cut this too to get this out of the way. Make sure he's not misbehaving. So we tacked him in there, so he should be okay. Our thread should be properly seated. And now we can do our 1. And get our circle. And we'll flip him around and get the other circle. Okay, so now let me show you. On this one, we have our 2-inch on this side. Well, on the next one, let's put the 2-inch on the other side. So then we can create just a little bit of variety. All right, here we go. Okay, and then you know what comes next, right? 3 comes next. All right, and what comes next? You guessed it. So right here at this center line, we should be right in the middle there in order to connect the 2 circles. All right, and then I'll maybe take an extra stitch and just make sure I'm on that center line right there. And that'll help us get these guys connected really nice. All right, and now we want to close the design, so we'll go ahead and we'll do the last one. And you see the difference that this time I ended up on the right side. I didn't mess up. Somebody on Facebook, they're like, I like how you show how it really is. And I'm like, yeah, I like that too. I really like to not mess up. But you know what? I think it's 100% authentic to let you know that that happens to all of us. You know, we're all just people and we're all sewing. So there you go. Don't you think that looks so cool? So, and it's pretty wide, so you're going to get a 4-inch width, and you can just make a line, or you could even use a seam line across your quilt if you have some spacing, and you can just continue this. And then here, you know that this is 2 inches right here. So if you gridded it, you know, at at the 4 inches, you know that your center line for this next one over here is 4 inches away, and then they would kiss. And you could even make it so that they kiss by offsetting. You could put the next circle so he goes right in the middle of this one, which I think would be so awesome to have them intersecting. And let me see, in fact, I think I have a sample of what I did. So it's not going to be as bright as what you see, but let's see if we can get that up there for you. Let's move out a little so we can see it. Can you see that? So I tried to make this one sit right in this spot, so they'll have this little intersection right there. And the way you would measure that if you wanted them to touch is you would use your spacing gauge and you would set the template on this center line right here and use your spacing gauge, and you could mark that 4-inch circle, and then that could be your reference to move all the other circles. And then they would have this cute little intersection and also this little triangle. Plus, you can always fill in, because these have a cool space right here for free motion. So if you're a free motion girl and you want to add that in, or a free motion person, then you have the freedom to do that as well. So hopefully you can see that. Let's see if we can get you a better view. Right there, they intersect. So really, really, really fun way to use this template. And this really uses every bit of the template, which is so cool. All right, so let's move on. Let's work on another piece. So let me tighten this camera up. So Vicki, I think it is a little hard to see, but what you would want to imagine is, let's do it. Let's do it right here rather than make you guess. I've got this on my center line right here, so it's lined up on this chalk line, and I would want to mark right through the middle like this. Okay. Now, this becomes the center of your 4-inch circle, like that. Okay? So right here you see it's on that center line. And then I could use my spacing gauge to find how far down that he needs to go. To make sure that he'll touch. And then what I could do here is I could actually draw this in with my stitching line disc. And I wouldn't sew that, but I would use that as the visual reference when I started the next set of circles to make sure that they nested. And if you were worried about them maybe being too tight or whatever, then I would just let them not touch. Let it, go in there a little bit, but make it so it's further away. So maybe you have a little gap. Instead of making them touch, maybe you have a 1/4-inch gap, and then you don't have to worry about if he touches or if he doesn't, because he's not supposed to. So anyway, that's just a fun little design for our mini arc. So let's go ahead. We'll show a little bit more of a common use for it, something that I really like. In fact, I'm just going to flip my fabric around and just use the same line right there. Okay. All right, so we'll just pick a small size. We'll pick this 2-inch size. And I'm just going to do one side. Okay. And then I can spin him like this and do this bottom side, which is really convenient. Okay. And then I can flip him back and get him lined up just like that, right on the center line. Okay, and then we'll do this last one if he can fit. Our line is gone. Let's see if we can help line him up. There we go. So he kind of lines up right there on that line back there. All right, so let me show you what I got. I got a cute little wavy line, right? Love it, so cute. So let's show you what we can do. We need a ruler to mark the middle. So we need essentially 1 inch right there. Okay? And we'll pretend that this is the quilt boundary right here. So I'll just pretend I'm sewing out in the margin right there, right? So now I'm going to use my same 2-inch, and I'll try to get him lined up just like I did before on that same reference line. And now I've got a little gap, and I'll show you what will happen. So it looks like we need to come up just another stitch right there. All right, get him lined up. Okay, rotate again. Okay, and rotate this time. And then we'll just kind of tack him right there at the top. I did say it was Superior, Sally. You are right. Superior, it's Fantastico thread. It's a 40 weight 3-ply. The number of the color is 5032. And I'll type that in later into the description if anybody wants to see that. But isn't this cool? Now, because we used the 2 inches, right? This clamshell, information-wise, it's 2 inches for the circle, you know, from side to side, so here to here, but the height is 1 inch. So this distance is 1 inch, and this distance, so this will fit in a 2-inch spacing right there. So one thing I want to talk about is, let's say that we have a sashing, and our sashing is 2 inches, right? If my seam allowance is off, which of course it is, right? It always is. If it's a little bit bigger, then 2 inches isn't going to fit. So generally speaking, if I have a 2-inch boundary, I try to put that in a 2.5 or in a 3-inch boundary so that it doesn't look like I'm cramming the design into a place where it really doesn't fit. In reality, I would like to have what I call a little bit of breathing room around the design. So maybe like this. And that way, this doesn't stitch right up to your seam allowance like that. It'll actually give you that little bit of breath where this gets the punch, and then there'll be a little lift right here, and then your seam will be over here. So with any template that we have that sews out at a specific size, that is really great and useful information for your planning purposes. All right, so let's see what we got next. So I think some people have seen that I'm a huge fan of the back-to-back template. And in fact, my new Fun and Fancy collection features the 3-2 template, the back-to-back. And what that means is that the distance here is 3 inches for each of the curves. So this C curve and this one. So I want to show you how we can use that with this mini arc so beautifully to make a really cool looking design. So let's go ahead, we'll get all set up. We'll do the mini arc first. And we'll use that same line. We're just going to sew down the reference line. And I cut it, so I bet I won't be able to pick up this bobbin thread. Oh, yes, victory, I did it. Okay, set your foot, and you can even tack right here if you want to. That will keep that thread nice and secure. And let's put a few of these in. We'll put about 4. So here, let me give you my favorite clamshell tips, right? So as we go up the clamshell, we have gravity helping us because the mountain is under our feet. And we just literally take a step and climb up. When you're at the top of the clamshell, now you have gravity working against you. You're going to fall off the mountain. So maybe some people have experienced that when I start coming down this side of the clamshell, I start drifting out here. So as I sew, I literally get my fingers right up in there and I think, touch the template to the foot, touch it, touch it, touch it, all the way down. Oh, made it. So I just noticed that I always have people sometimes that they're drifting, and I think it's a little hard to kind of get out of this cavity here. So you actively have to push everything that way in order to get the foot to stay connected and to get out of the ditch, so to speak. All right, one more. So does anybody know where we're going already? Have you planned it out in your brain that you can see my plan? Let's do one more so we can get a good look at this design when we're done. Okay, so now the back-to-back template is really useful because it has two different sizes. So this one is the deeper side and this one is shallower. And to be able to travel and to end up in the same place, we do 3 times 3 stitches. So we did 1, 2, and 3. We'll end up back here and we could just keep going. And this could be a great way if you have a larger quilt. You could travel, say maybe 4 or 5 units and finish the design, and then you'd be able to move down a whole section. So let's go ahead and we'll get ourselves lined up. And we're just going to use one side of this. So I'm going to use the hook side to get lined up. And we have the same center reference line here, so we can use that. And the width across is exactly the same. So we should end up right where we left off. And then you would just move your hook. And we'll move one more time. So you can see this would stitch up pretty quickly. And then down here at the bottom, if I'm a stitch off, I might correct it. You know, just travel just slightly so that my needle is exactly right. Because see, if you look right here, nobody will really be concerned about that, but I could see it was off. So if it's off here, it probably will be further off as you go. So as you sew one, then the next one, you want to make a little correction, spontaneous correction, okay? So we'll put the hook in there and we'll get lined up. We'll do this last one. Okay, and now let's flip it and we'll put the hook right on there. Kind of set it up this way so you can see a little better. So I got my center line and I would be looking right here. If I had any sizing right here, I could use my stitching line disc and I could check that. Right, just move it down and get it lined up. So I absolutely think this swag is completely, totally cool and would make an amazing border. And we have this in the 3-inch size, we have it in a 2-inch size, we have it in a 1-inch size, and we have it in a 4-inch size. So if you had a preference and you needed it for a certain border, then you would have that ability. And then something else that you could do if you wanted to is you could make this same design and you could make reference lines here and you could mirror it on this side, and then you could just echo those out, or you could keep making the hourglass shapes in lines, and then that becomes an all-over fill as well. So that has a great potential for borders and for also fills that you could do over a large area. And as you saw, it's easy to line it up. I don't have a lot of markings and I don't have a lot of reference lines. You can just use the template and a center line. And now this distance, just as a reminder, we said that the clamshell is 3 inches at the base. Then the relationship from the base to the top is 1.5. So for the 3-inch, it's going to be half. Whatever size clamshell you have, the height of that clamshell is half if it is a true circle. All right, so anybody else having trouble with sound? Kathy, one of our viewers has said that she has no sound. So if you can hear me, can you give me a like or a thumbs up so that I can know that you have some good sound? So let's do one more design. Let me tie this off real quick and we'll just cut that. We have a lot of space to play with on here. You see that? We've got lots of room. So we'll make a line here as a reference, and I'll show you another fun design that you can make. Okay, so Kathy, I'm sorry, but maybe it's something to do with your sound, because a couple of people have said that the sound is okay. So if the video is coming in and out, that is generally a function of the internet. So I'm sorry. I do have fast internet, but with so many people at home and so many users, I can't control that. So hopefully if it's going in and out, you'll have an opportunity maybe to come back later and to view it. All right, so let's just start up here and we'll pick a size. So we've used our 3-inch. Let's use our 2-inch circle since we've used a lot of different sizes. That'll give you guys a chance to see some different sizing. All right, so we'll get our needle set. Get that bobbin thread up. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll make some circles. And right now, I'm just going to come down this way and make a couple. So I think we'll do 3. That'll be enough for us to see the design. So remember, lining up, that'll help keep everything pretty. One more. Now, I don't have to necessarily turn my sandwich. I could just put this template on and I could go back the other way. But because you would not be able to see that, I do want to turn it for you because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so I'll get it lined up and I want to try to come in right to my existing circle right there. And that'll close that out. Hug the curve nice and tight. That's what makes your circle so pretty. All right. All right, and now let's go ahead and get ourselves up a little bit higher. We need to kind of come up to here. And we'll get ourselves set. So we want to be sort of halfway. In fact, I'm going to cut this so I can get it lined up. Let me show you this way. So right here is the beginning of the circle, and we're going to line him up now right on that beginning. Let's see on this line. There we go. All right, and we're going to do the same, and we're going to make those circles kind of intersect. Same thing. So we use that midline to get us right to the half. You can kind of see that he's lined up, and this line right here, he should be lined up right in the middle. And if he's not, you can kind of do, I call it the little tug right there. So what happens when we sew a circle or any quilt design that is 360, the quilt is going to draw up in all areas. It's not just going to draw up in a line, it's going to bunch up all ways. So you can see that the template would end up with a little bit more difficulty lining up as you go, as it draws in, okay? So we'll do this last one. And let's see if we can get him lined up right there. All right, so then you can see here he's going to get this cute little hump like that. And if we did it together, where we did sets of these, you're going to see such a beautiful design. Wait till we get one more of these in here. One more. So let's flip it around so you can see. Isn't that awesome? Right? And you could stack those, and you can also make this next one intersect halfway. And then you would end up with the cathedral ceiling type of designs, because the circles would intersect each other. So let's see if we can make this one do it just like that. We'll do one or two, see if we can get it lined up here. Oh, I think I might be slightly off. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. All right, let's see what we got up there. Oh, no, he's off. Darn it. But he does make a beautiful cathedral windows with these. What I would do is, if I was doing that, I would consider actually gridding with a grid stencil that is the correct size for your template. That would help keep everything lined up so that maybe, your design might not kind of go at an angle. Grids are really useful for something like this because they have pretty much perfectly even markings. So this would be 1-inch grid. This one you would need 1.5-inch grid, which is commonly available. 3 inches I've never seen, but a 1.5-inch grid. And then a 2-inch grid could be used with this one or with this one as well. So, okay. So let's see. I have not had a chance really to look at some of our questions. Let's see if we have some questions really quick. All righty. Let's see. If you have any questions, you want to go ahead and put them up right now. Does this ruler have a number? So this is the mini multi-arc template. This is Rhonda's question right here. This is what it looks like, right? And then down here is our part number. And you can also see our price as well. This is the US price. And so this is WT mini / multi-arc circle 2 - whatever, high shank, long arm, low shank. So if you wanted to order it, you can look for that information. That would be super helpful for you. And then, let's see. Hi from Florida, hi from Australia. Oh, very pretty. Thank you. Thank you, Linda Martindale. Let's see. Intersecting Circles. I love those. Those are one of my favorite designs. It is a new template. It's relatively new. We've had this a multi-arc tool with different sizes. So we have it, I think it's like 1 to 6, and it's in different heights. So you have some that are really tall, like ovals, and then you have some that are really shallow, but these ones are actually circular. So they're a half circle relationship. So the price, Gisello, is $24 for the single template right here. And let's see who had us. Okay, so at this point, I think I've shown you kind of a couple of good ideas, some borders, something that you could use as a fill. Let's do something that's more like a motif, and then we'll finish up. So Let me just make a very small line because we don't need a big line for this design. We just need a little bitty one. All right. And if you had your straight edge handy, that would also be something that would be useful to do this design, right? So we'll just pull up our bobbin thread. We need the outside shape first, right? Because that is where we need to align. So let's see if we can, we'll mark it at 2 because we need a center line. So right there, that's our midline. So we need that. All right, so let's make the first part of the circle. Do they come in sets for all sizes? So somebody was asking about sets. This is just a single template. I don't think that it is a set. So if there was, you know, you're just getting this template. It's not really a set. So right now we need to move over. We want to be able to set the 3-inch right in the middle. So we kind of need our foot to be about right there. So I'm just going to sew down my straight line. And I'm hoping that's pretty close to get me lined up right in the middle. Okay? So then we'll do this midline. Okay, and now I want to be closer for my 2-inch, so I'm going to scoot in and let's see how he can line up. We got to shift you guys. There we go. So there's our center mark, and we kind of want to get right in the center with our 2-inch, and of course I can't see anything, so I'm going to make my line a little bit bigger. See if I can line him up. There we go. So there's my center. Right? And now I should be able to get myself in just a little closer. And now we'll put that 1-inch right in the middle. Okay, and now what do we do? Now that we made our cute little rainbow, I can just sew down to the end. And this is where I was talking about if you have your straight edge. So I'll grab a straight edge. Then I can line him up and I can just sew across right there. And then if I wanted to continue, I could just make another one, and I can make another one and make another one. And then these are great to put, you know, fun fills in if you wanted to do that. They have some just cute open spacing. And you can do a full circle as well with these, where you have sort of bullseye circles, which would also be kind of fun. But you would have to hop over, just like we did with our spiral design. You'd have to hop over to this line, and then hop to the next line, and hop to the next line. And then you'd hop over to here, tack your thread, and sew your next circle. So that would be a way that you could make 2 different designs. And one thing that's also kind of cool is making one up and then one down. And then that would be really, really fun. So that's all that I have for you today. So I hope that you will find this to be a really fun and useful tool. It has a lot of versatility, and there's just so many things that you can do with circles and half circles, and this one gives you so many different sizes all in one tool. And one of the things that I like, see, it's not too big. You can hold on to it, so very convenient as far as the design. Alrighty, so I'm out. Any questions? I'll give you like 30 seconds to pop your last question in there. Let's see, Joan. This Hans & Porter ceramic chalk pencil. It has an eraser, and let me show you. Here's my line. It actually does erase, which is very cool. Can you see that? So that's pretty nice. I like this for dark fabrics, and it's pretty much never failed me, which is great. So let's see. What pen am I using? Okay, I answered that question. Okay, go forth and quilt, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great time. Have a wonderful. And please come and visit with me on the live on Sunday, because I am going to be revealing my fun and fancy book. And if you're interested in seeing a little sneak preview, I did my unboxing video today because I got it in the mail, my first printed copy. So I'll put that out on Fabrikated Quilts if anybody wants to see that. So hope to see you on Sunday. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.